All right. Let's just dive in. Let's dive in. Let's do it. I think we've got some viewers, and I think we're just going to get started because I am really, really, really excited for today's topic, and I'm so antsy to dive in. So I just wanted to say I have a new webcam. I bought an upgraded, higher tech, better quality webcam for these live chats because I think it's important that not only is the content good and that you're learning something from these live chats, but I'm not super fuzzy or delayed or too grainy, and I seem to look okay and function okay with my new fancy microphone, and I've got a new fancy webcam, and we're upping the game over here. And I also want to mention that if you're on my email list, you've already seen that there's a special on the yoga branding workshop that I'll talk a little bit more about at the end of this live chat. But there's a special and a discount on for that workshop. So if you've been thinking about it for a little while, this might be a good time to kind of dive in. There's $150 off, which I'm going to give you the link to later. And it's until the end of June only, so 2 more days. So let's dive into the content of taking your yoga business online and what that means for yoga teachers. We live in this big world now where we have such easy access to a global reach, and we've got so many platforms and so many ways to connect with people that aren't just in our local community or our town or our city. And that is awesome. I think it's amazing that we have this at our hands. And best of all, it's typically, social media and things like that is free. So it's a free way to really put yourself out there and start to reach people on a global scale and get your yoga teaching skills up to par online and start to make a difference that way. So I really wanted to talk about taking your business online today because I think it's super important for yoga teachers to start thinking about different streams of revenue and different streams of income. So this is a great way to consider that and to start supplementing some of your local classes or workshops with an online platform or some way to reach people online and start to generate a little bit more revenue through that as well. So I'm always trying to work really hard to start to shift some mindsets and start to have yoga teachers thinking more outside of the box, and starting to really see themselves and treat themselves as a wellness professional that can have a sustainable life. And this has been something that's really on my mind lately as I talk to more and more teachers and feel the struggle that is happening. And it makes me a little bit sad sometimes to see that. So I want everybody to start thinking of themselves as a professional in a wellness industry, and that people are seeking our services and that we can provide a professional service for people and live a sustainable life, whatever that means to you. Financially balanced, level of satisfaction, whatever that sustainability means for you is what is important for me to try and shift. So taking your business online and opening up another side of an offering or another way to offer your services is such a good idea. And it's just right at our hands right now. And we're in this crazy world of interwebs where things are happening all the time and we have easy access. So I want everyone to start thinking about that and shifting a little bit more of that mindset into an online world and what that looks like for yoga, which is such a deeply personal and almost physical practice for people. So what does that look like? And I want to tackle a few ways that you can start to think about that. And of course, we're only going to be about 30 minutes. So I'm sure that there's so much more detail that we can get into about each of these ways. And if that's something that's interesting to you, or you want to hear more about it or more about the process of getting there, please leave comments. Please drop your question in the Q&A and leave a comment that there's something you want to hear more about, and we'll schedule it for a future live chat where we can get into more detail, or you can go over to the Facebook group and drop your comments there and let me know. Just let me know what you're struggling with and what you want to hear more about on these live chats, because they're for you. They're for yoga teachers that are listening and need a little bit of guidance or support around some particular topic. So do that, take advantage, and just let me know, tag me in the Facebook group, and I will be happy to hear your suggestions and happy to hear your struggles and happy to hear ways that we can start to build more support around these areas. So let's dive into ways to take your yoga business online. So the first one, which is maybe the obvious one, is to teach online. I'm sure that a lot of people here have heard of Yoga with Adriene. She's the YouTube kind of yoga star, the star of YouTube for yoga, and she's really, really, really great. I started with Yoga with Adriene a long time ago, and I love her content. I think she's got such an approachable way of teaching yoga to an online audience, and she makes it so personable, and she's built up an incredibly large and engaged audience online, and she's kind of the superstar of teaching online, and she's done so on YouTube. She's used a free platform to put her content out there and start teaching with free videos, and she's built up this incredible, and I'm sure very sustainable lifestyle for herself through free yoga videos. Now, we can start that way, and that's a really good way to put out content and feelers. If you've got a way to set yourself up to film a yoga sequence and a class with yourself, and put it on YouTube for a 15, 20 minute, 10 minute, whatever, a short little sequence that you can put up and start to build a channel and an audience that way, which then kind of leads back into maybe an online studio type of situation where you're charging a membership fee, or there's an online essential studio that you can start to funnel your students into. So if they really like that free content, or they are enjoying those free sequences, then they might, want more from you. And that's a good way to build up that audience and start to think about ways to serve a larger group of people. And if you haven't checked out Yoga with Adriene, I definitely recommend checking her out. And to do this kind of with some support, Namastream is a really great resource for you to check out for taking your studio, or building an online studio rather, with a website and a membership kind of login area where people can access your yoga classes that, maybe your YouTube videos are 10 to 15, 20 minutes long, but then if they want more and they want more structure and more variation between your classes, the membership site may have, 40-minute classes or 1-hour classes, and a little bit more substance to your classes versus maybe your free content. So start thinking about that if that's something that resonates with you, to get started with building an online studio. iPhones and smartphones these days have pretty good capability for filming and for taking pictures. The thing that I will say that is so important to making that quality just pop, instead of it just being, filmed with your iPhone, is lighting. If you can get your hands on some sort of filming equipment and lighting and a way to record your voice and microphone, that's what you need. And then you can use online editing tools and things like that. And this is really, like I said, I know these are very brief overviews, but this might be a topic again for another live chat, to start to figure out what equipment you need for this and what the investment looks like. But it really doesn't take a whole lot to start on these types of online class sort of structures. So that's one way to consider building kind of an online membership-based site. And, in your membership, you may have classes, but you might also have other resources for your students and for your members who are paying, maybe a monthly fee, or they're buying one class at a time. Maybe you have a shop on your website with, one sequence at a time charged separately. But if you also want to kind of add value to those people's membership, or create some sort of value add, you can have other things other than, just sequences. Maybe you have recorded meditations. Maybe you've got some sort of online workshop style content where people are building a home practice for themselves, or how to fit yoga into a busy day, or you've got kind of online recorded classes within your membership to add a little bit of value to that. So it's not just sequences, but you've got some option for people who, aren't sure if they're going to do a yoga class every single day from your membership, and they're not sure if that's really for them, but there's other value adds. So it's a really, really great way to have that community in one spot and to start serving a much larger audience versus just in your local studio. So something to think about is teaching online or building some sort of online studio for yourself. The second one I want to talk about is online workshops or online courses. And this is really similar to what I've done for yoga teachers. The Building Your Brand workshop that I've built for yoga teachers is an online course. Of course, it's not teaching yoga, but it's teaching, the business side of things and the branding side of things. But this is a really good platform to use for starting to build out workshops for your yoga students. So you know the workshops that you're putting on in your local studio, or if you've got a really great idea, like I said, like how to set up a home practice or how to get started with yoga, and you've got this really great workshop idea and you want to just reach everybody, you can start to use those filming methods or worksheets or ways to build out guides, and start to put together an online workshop. And this is kind of what lots and lots of people are doing these days. But if you've got really great content and really great ideas, then starting to build that out into an online platform is awesome, because it reaches people and it lets people kind of take things at their own pace. And you can basically get it in front of people that you might not have been able to reach in just your local studio or your town. So that is what I've done with the Building Your Brand workshop. I held that workshop live here in Toronto, and I had teachers there going through the workshop in person. And it wasn't enough of a reach. I needed to get it in front of more yoga teachers so that I could start helping, you guys with this whole business side of things and this whole branding side of things. And so I built it online, and it was not an easy process. It took me about 7 to 8 months to get the content created and hosted on a platform, but it's worthwhile when you can start to have that done. That's when you can start to get it in front of people and really start helping people work through it. So I use a platform called Teachable, and I like Teachable because it has free monthly options, and you can upgrade from there. So basically, if you're not sure if you're going to make money or generate revenue from an online workshop that you're creating for yoga students, you can go with the free plan. I think it's a free plan, and they take 8% of the cost of the workshop, or and then as you go up in plans, it takes less and less percentage, or it goes down to none, a 0% cut. But it's a really good place to start, because if you're not sure about that idea yet, then you can have a free plan, not investing any, like it's very low risk to have $0 going out to a platform. And if you sell some, then they take a little bit of that. And if you don't, then you don't owe any money. So it's a good place to start. And I think that if you can come up with an idea, although it is a big process and it's not easy work, it is a great way to get your teachings and your value, I guess, out into a bigger audience. And it's something that kind of can live online for as long as you want it to live online for. So once the content is built and it's there, it's just a matter of figuring out, how you want to launch that to your audience, how you want to work that into your current teachings. Perhaps you've got a workshop online and you've got private clients, or you've got students or an email list already. And these people, it might be a value add for them. Maybe you offer them either a really great discount on the workshop for being your student and being your client, or maybe you offer it for free. And this is just a really great value add for those people who are already learning from you in your local community. So there's just so many options with building an online kind of course or workshop, or some sort of platform that way to start reaching and teaching people. And it really doesn't have to be intense. The Building Your Brand workshop that I've put together, it took me 8 months to put it together, because it's a very intensive course. It covers everything. But the thing is it doesn't have to be so intense. You can build courses as large or as small as you want to, and they can be at whatever price point feels good to you. And if you need support around these kinds of things, that's what our group is for, our Facebook group. So if you are thinking about that, or you've got some ideas, feel free to drop into the group. Let us know what you need help with, what you kind of need help sorting through. If you need help sorting out how to host these types of things, then by all means, please drop a comment into the Facebook group, and everyone there is happy to help. I've built an online workshop. I know there's other people in that group that have built or are working through building an online course now. So there's tons of support around this in the group. And there's tons of support online, really, for this type of thing, because it is becoming it's shifting the way we learn and we gather skills. There's lots of online courses now. You can find some for lots of different topics. So that means tons of support. The other thing I wanted to talk about is ebooks and kind of guided worksheets or workbooks, or different ways to help people with a little bit more of a platform than a blog post, say. So if you feel like you've got a topic that is can be, really great in an ebook format, or you've got so much to say about it that you need more than just a blog post, ebooks are a really, really kind of accessible way to take things in now. And there's lots of platforms to start building your own ebook, and it doesn't have to be a costly adventure. You've got Canva right now. So canva.com is, you've probably heard me say it before. It's a great tool to use and it's free. You can start to lay out an ebook there. Just make sure that, you're not pumping out an ebook just for the sake of doing it. If you really believe in a topic, then start to put something together. Start to put together some good imagery and content that you've written out about this topic, and you can lay it out. And there's lots of ways to get that ebook out to your customers or your clients or your students. And it's a really digestible way, and it's something that people, I think, enjoy because, number one, a lot of people have Kobos and Kindles now, or they read on a PDF on their computer or on their iPad or their tablet. And the other thing too is that it's sold. They're usually sold at a very accessible price point. So you can, ebooks can sell for as little as $5, or they can be, $20+. It really depends on the content and the value you put on that. And it's accessible to people because it's not as big of an investment. So people feel a little bit better about trusting you to get this ebook content and read. So that's another way. I would say, if you take that route or that step, if you feel as though it's something that you have to say, you've got something you want to say, or a topic that you just feel really passionate about that's going to serve your audience in a great way. And I'm currently, about to hopefully work with a yoga teacher on her first ebook. So I'm really looking forward to helping her kind of flesh that out and get it online in a way that's going to function and be converted for her, so that people are subscribing for maybe a free chapter, and then if they like it, they have the option of coming back and purchasing, that sort of thing. So it's a good avenue still. There are people that still like to read, and especially in cities. I take my Kobo and my Kindle. I have a Kobo, but I take it with me on the subway no matter what, or if I'm waiting for something or in between client meetings, I've always got it with me in my backpack. So I read all the time. So it's still a good avenue to start to have that conversation with your audience. And then the third kind of, or maybe this is fourth, ebooks can kind of be its own category, but the fourth way that you can start to take your yoga business online that I wanted to talk about is private sessions via Skype. And I see these a lot on yoga teacher websites, and there's ways you can start to build up this audience and warm people up to the idea of taking a session with you on Skype. And this is also a great way if you move cities or states or provinces or countries even, and you've already got a base of clients or students in your hometown, and you're scrambling because how am I going to rebuild this in another city or town, then Skype private sessions are a great way to keep in touch with your clients and keep the ball rolling and keeping that relationship open, and keeping the conversation going with those students and those clients of yours. Because as yoga teachers, a move from a city or a town can be totally detrimental, or it can be really stressful to think about how you're going to rebuild that client base in another place, and that's very reasonable. But when we start to expand our services to an online world, it becomes a little bit less of a burden for us to have to be staying in one location always. So it's a really great way to keep in touch with your current clients and students when maybe their schedules don't fit with yours to have an in-person meetup. Maybe you're supplementing some of your private client sessions with online sessions. I know that if I were to do, I've got, a package set up for online classes via Skype or Google Hangouts or whatever you choose to use. I charge a little bit less than my in-person sessions because I don't have to travel. I don't have to pay to get there. I don't have to pay with my time to get there. And it's a little bit of a different experience, I think, than when you're in person. You're able to adjust. You're able to be there. It's a physical kind of relationship with your student, and it's a little bit different than if you were online doing it. So I think that difference in experience is worth a little bit of a lesser cost based on my approach to this. It doesn't have to be yours at all. But it's a really good idea to start thinking about how you can use these online tools to reach your clients and reach your students. And it's, from the comfort of your home. So it's nice. And it's you don't have to commute to get there. So that's why I charge a little bit less for those sessions. But again, it's totally up to whatever you feel is valuable. And, again, maybe with your online private clients, you're offering a little bit of a value add and giving them that access to that online workshop, or giving them a little bit more of a value added bonus. Maybe you give them access to your membership site if they buy X amount of packages, that sort of thing. So there's ways to tie all of these online services and offerings together and give really, really, really great value to your clients and your students. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about, so maybe this is number 5, I think, is mentoring and coaching. So this doesn't have to just be for yoga teachers. There's so many kind of mindset yoga coaching or mentoring going on right now that it is in the world of yoga teachers. You can find lots of online businesses and online coaches and mentors specifically for yoga teachers. I guess I might be one of them because I'm online. I work with tons of people all over the world on brand coaching for yoga businesses. And, I work with lots of yoga teachers that are all over the place, and it's very much done in an online world, an online way. And, so you can think about ways you can either help yoga teachers, but also don't limit yourself maybe just to yoga teachers. If you are a yoga teacher that loves teaching students too, you can be a mentor or a coach for a student and create, mentoring or coaching packages that might include something like not free. This is kind of a bundle that I'm thinking of for a mentoring or coaching perspective of an online business is online kind of private sessions via, Skype or something like that. That might be part of the package of coaching or mentoring. And then you might also include some coaching in terms of checking in with them once a month or once every 2 weeks, or whatever you decide is good for your students. Checking in with just a Skype call. It's not a class or a session. It's just how's your yoga practice going? Are you staying on track? How are you finding time? This is how you can start to build time, and then coaching them into a lifestyle of yoga or meditation or whatever your specialties are, and helping them build a lifestyle for themselves that they can love and that you can help them with. It might also be delivering them worksheets or journaling homework or, these types of things. So while you can build in the private sessions, you might also add a coaching or a mentoring element where you're helping them flesh out a home practice or how to just build a healthier lifestyle for themselves via yoga and meditation. If you're a nutritionist as well, you know how lots of yoga teachers have this other added skill set usually, and you've got some other way to uniquely offer them something. So that's another really, really awesome way to sell kind of coaching or mentoring packages online to your audience. So we've covered quite a few there. I'll do a quick recap if you're just joining. But a few ways we just talked about bringing your yoga business online is to teach online with YouTube videos or a private membership site where people can access an online studio. Online workshops and courses, similar to what I've done with the Building Your Brand workshop for yoga teachers, where you can build out a workshop with, videos or worksheets or both, or audio, any kind of content that you want to use. Ebooks, if you decide you have a topic that you really want to get out into the world and you've got something to say about it, ebooks are a great way to get out. Private sessions via Skype or, Google Hangouts or FaceTime, whatever you use, and being able to connect with your clients, especially if you've already built up a base and you're moving or they're moving and you're not sure how you're going to be able to keep in touch. Open up some private packages online for your students and your global audience. And then 5th, mentoring or coaching and figuring out ways to work one-on-one with your students besides just the private classes. So being able to offer them more than just a private session online. So you've got lots of options there. And I know, like I said, that these could all be their own live chats and how to get started with this and how to build that out. But it's just to get you inspired to start to think about bringing your services that you've got locally and in your community and bringing them online so that, one, you're not totally tied down to a location-based job. And number 2, so that you can start to supplement your income and have another stream of income coming in, and it builds that other stream. So it might lessen the burden eventually of finances and things like that. And there's no shame in that. That's something that we all need to think about, is being sustainable, again, in whatever way that is for you. So a few things I want you to remember about taking your business online, as we just covered kind of the ways to do that. And by the way, if you're just joining and you've got a question about something or you missed something, there's a grid little tab or icon up in the right corner. Drop that down, click the blue chat box that says Q&A, and drop your questions in there if you have them, because I can see viewers, and we don't have a chat function on this Google Hangout stream, but we do have that Q&A section where you can drop your comments. You can just say hey to me if you want to. Go ahead and do that if you'd like. I'm going to leave some time at the end here to answer any questions. I know this is a big topic and there's so much to think about, but this is just really to get you started in getting inspired to think about bringing some stuff online. So things to remember. Audiences online are a cold audience, and that means that when we're in person and we're in our local town or community and we can connect with people one-on-one, it's a much warmer audience. They're much more likely to make the connection and build a relationship with us when we can speak to them and see them in person. So when you're reaching out to people online, it's much colder. They don't know who you are. They don't know why they should trust you. Why should they buy from you instead of someone else? It's very a cold audience. So you need to make sure that you're taking time and patience with yourself to build up an audience online before you get discouraged or think that you're never going to sell something online. And ways you can start to think about that: social media networking, like we've talked about in past live chats, Facebook groups where you're connecting with people that are learning yoga, or whoever your audience is, finding them online, connecting with them that way and building up some engagement that way. Email lists are so important. We're going to do a live chat about just email lists at some point, because it's so important to start building up an online audience, is to keep in touch with them via email. And so it's a colder audience. You need to take some patience, and you need to really start to warm up people and build an audience and engagement online before you can really push your anything in front of them without them being like, ugh, you know. So it takes some time, but it's really worthwhile, and it's really a good way to build up a community. And as you start to do that, you start to realize how much you'll love the actual community aspect of it instead of just having an audience to sell a product to. And it's not a get rich overnight scheme. These taking your businesses online and, you know, make money while you sleep tactics and things like that, they don't fly with me, and they shouldn't fly with you. And those things are what feel icky. But it does not have to be like this. This is not about, you know, making 6 figures while you sleep. It's really a lot of work to build an online business, really a lot of work to maintain it and keep people engaged. Worth also because you're reaching so many more people than you would have in person, and you're able to make your difference. You're able to do what you love doing to more people. Who wouldn't love that? But it does take a lot of work, and it takes a lot of it. It requires constant kind of engagement. It requires a lot of work to build content. It's a lot of content creation. It's a lot of community building. So it's not for the, you know, people who want just an easy solution or an easy way out. It's a lot of work, and I can vouch for that personally. But it is worth it because you connect with people in ways that you know, I've chatted with and connected with and work from all walks of life and all over the world. It's nuts. I've worked with clients in Israel. I've worked with clients in Europe. I've worked with like I've got a list. I should probably have a map above my desk here, and I could pinpoint. And it's so nice to hear from people in other walks of life, in other areas and locations, and talk to them about what that looks like for their country or their province or their state or their city. So you really do reach a bigger audience, which is it's awesome. It's very satisfying work. It's just a lot of work. So don't kind of take this on with that easy solution mentality where this is sweet, I'll make money while I sleep. It's, you know, you could get to that point for sure. People get there all the time in online business, but it takes a lot of work and it's a lot of effort. And I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. And another thing I wanted to say about that is that it does require some investment. You have to pay for some services and some platforms and tools that cost money. You know, you need to have a really good functioning website up, and it needs to be working very well, and it needs to look very professional and nice if you want people to invest money in you. If they land on a website and it looks terrible and you're asking for $20, $10, whatever dollars a month for your membership site, I don't know. It's like, do I want to pay this person that much money if they've not put time in to make this really easy and nice and a good experience for me? Maybe not. So you need to kind of invest in a good website. You need to invest in a good email marketing service. You You can start out with like MailChimp or something for free, but eventually you'll probably want something that automates things. So it costs, $10 a month here, $10 a month there. You'll need to start investing in these tools that make your job, one, easier, but also two, make the user experience of your audience and the people who are going to be buying from you easier as well. So it does take a little bit of investment of money and energy on that end. But it's such a terrific way, again, to reach a global audience and make that difference. Make the difference that you're making to your local community on a much bigger scale. So it's worthwhile. It's a lot of work. It takes some investment. It takes a lot of time to build the content, but I really do think it's worthwhile. It's all of this work, this 8 months of work for the Building Your Brand workshop has been worthwhile for me. Building up a community has been worthwhile. Even just to have a tribe of people and a community of people that they support me and I support them. And it's a really nice, satisfying way to have a business online. And again, eventually, as these things start to come together, it's a nice way to build a little bit more of a passive income, a little bit more of a location independent income stream, which is really beneficial for teachers. And I think so important for teachers to start thinking about and considering as we move into this online world. And, if something happens and maybe your partner gets a job somewhere else, or, maybe you're required to move for something, or maybe you want to move, but you're tied down because of, your job and your client base in your town or city, this is a nice way to supplement that and give you a little bit more freedom if something like that were to happen, to build up and keep going with your business. So those are kind of the topics I wanted to talk about. Please, if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A section. I would love to hear from you. And again, on the Facebook group, please always just drop by. If you've got a question, you don't need to wait for the daily threads to ask a question. The threads are really to prompt you and have you start thinking about things. The Friday feedback is really for you to be able to share your links, because we have a no promo policy in the group. But if you've got questions about this stuff, or something comes up and you're not sure which tool to look at, please do ask. And there's so many people in there besides just me that are helping guide this kind of conversations. So there's lots of people with lots of experience. Please hop in there. Ashley, you missed the early part of the talk. She says, it's going to be recorded. It's going to be put up, so you'll be able to catch the first half and listen to the second half. So I will put that into the group and into the event. Ashley, don't worry. It will be there. And then if you do want to start building your brand online and kind of putting these pieces together and thinking about things like a functioning website and how to market your services properly, both online and in person, how to design for social media, how to design your own logo or word mark, how to choose your colors, all of these things that kind of go into building a business for your yoga teaching services, then the Building Your Brand workshop is available to you. And I just wanted to tell you that if you're on my email list, you've already seen that there's $150 off until the end of June. So it's $150 off for the next 2 days. And because June is almost over, says who, where did it go? I don't know. But it's until the end of June, so 2 more days left. And the link, if you go up to the grid and drop down, you'll see yellow price tag sort of icon, and it's called Showcase. If you just drop down to Showcase, you'll see the link there to grab the special, grab the $150 off. So if it's something you've been thinking about, it might be a good time for you to hop on board while it's at a discounted price, and work through this whole process kind of at your own pace. You just get to work through it as you need to, and it really does work through everything from what do I do, where do I do. I have a really great website online, and it works and it looks great, and I can do whatever I want with it now and put it wherever I want, and I feel really happy and good about it. So it works through that whole process, and it's there for you. And I built it. I spent the 8 months building it for you, so I make this kind of service accessible to people without having to hire me one-on-one and get a nice chunky invoice on your desk or in your hands by the end of the process. So it's there. 2 more days. It's available. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm here. I love connecting with you. I love hearing from you, and I'm happy to answer questions. I'm in the Facebook group all the time. Sometimes I take times off, but I'm usually there. So if you've got questions, please let me know. And this is something I feel really passionate about. I'm really, really passionate about helping yoga teachers just find sustainability and find some groundedness in their work and be able to do what they love in a way that they can live comfortably and happily and not be burnt out and stressed out all the time. So any way I can support you in doing that, any way at all, I want to hear from you, because this is really important to me, and I'm passionate because I love the work that we do as yoga teachers, and you guys inspire me literally all the day, all the days, all day, all the days. And I'm so excited about people just diving into doing what they love because they love doing it. And they're not here because, you know, they think they can get rich and famous off of it. They're here because they genuinely love teaching this tool and this practice to people. And that is just beautiful in and of itself. I totally appreciate that in this world. And any way that I can support you, I'm in the Facebook group. I love having you guys there. Please drop your questions and let me know. So the link to the workshop is in the showcase tabs. It's youryogabrand.com. The promo code, if you go that route, is 150 off email. So it's 150 OFFEMAIL. And that'll get you $150 off the workshop. And if you have questions, again, pop on by. You know where to find me. All right. Mwah. Oh, Ashley, what did you say? I just shared my yoga Facebook page. Would love your input. I will check it out, Ashley, and I'll see you over in the group. All right. Take care. Have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are. And I'll see you next week for our live chat. Mwah.